Hi, I'm Bet from Bet's Makes, and today we're going to do something called a pop-out tri-fold card. I haven't glued this one together, but this will give you the idea where you've got two flaps inside. So when you have it closed, you see the outside part, you bring this out, and then you can open it out one more. This is a gorgeous card to make, and it's fairly simple because you can get the template from this from betsmakes.com. And while you're there, don't forget to get your copy of Cricut Tips and Tricks. That's a free guide for you. So let's move over into Cricut Design Space, and we are going to start working with this particular card. We're going to be able to add some embellishments and a lot of other things on the go. Now, we have a template already set up for you, so you just have to upload it. And the template is called Popup Triple Fold. So just look for that in the templates folder. So Popup Triple Fold, we're going to add that to the canvas. Now there's a couple of things that we have to do with this. This is two-sided. You don't have to use both sides if you don't want to. I'm going to start by ungrouping, but I've got to be very careful about what I choose and what I move around here. Well, we know the center line here is going to be a score line. So I'm just going to add that as a score line. Yep. And then I'm just going to highlight both of these to make sure they're together and attach them. And there's absolutely nothing else we need to do with this piece. I'm just going to move it off to the side. Now we have two other pieces. Some are cut out and some will be part of the bottom as a draw line. So let's take a look at the center line right here, top and bottom. Those are both score lines. They're in red. You can tell that here. I'm going to change those to score. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to click on this one. And I'm going to have to do a shift click for this one and the one at the top here. And for some reason, those weren't grouped together, but take all three of those and change those to a score line as well. Now, one other piece that we have to worry about, these are not all cut. We want to cut the part that points, no problem. So the bottom piece here and the bottom piece here, I'm just going to hold my shift key down. We've got two bottom pieces that you'll see the green here, and you know you've got the right two selected. We're going to change those to a pen, and I'll just make it a raspberry color for now so that we can see it. Now, what we have to do is make sure all of this is attached. Really important that it is attached. Otherwise, you're going to get things all over the place. So now we have three pieces with the attached. This is the outside of the card. Now you can decide if you want to put a greeting or something else on there. And the same with the two arrows, because there'll be a front and a back of each one of these sheets. And if you can see, there are different ways of folding it. But if I put this up to the screen, you can see where I can put a message there, or I can flip and put a message on the back. So there's going to be two ways to put the messages on that center piece, and it depends on how you want to embellish them. Now they're going from side to side, so we know everything has to be vertical and up and down. You can make a happy birthday, which we will do right now. And let's just go happy on one side. And then we'll click again for another text. And this will be birthday. And I'll just click away and just move those away. We want to rotate these 90 degrees. And I just want to make sure it's going to fit. It's a little bit wide. So I am just going to unlock it a bit here and just change the size if it will let me. Interesting. I'm going to change the color. Let's make it a purple so I can at least see it. There we go. And I'm going to take this and just make it slightly smaller. And that's just so I know it will fit here. Perfect. All right. I'm just going to move that out of the way. Let's take our happy now and let's rotate it 90 degrees. And the happy is going to fit in there. Now you might want your happy a little bit bigger, or you want it the same height. So it's up to you. If you want them the same height, then I'm going to have to move it over here. And I'm going to just have to make it a little bit smaller, but that's okay. I'm just going to unlock it and just make it slightly smaller. Doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm going to change the color to the same color. Now we've got a happy and a birthday, and then you could add some other greetings for the other side, like free gift certificate or something you want, or you could have a balloon or something else. But I just want to show you the happy birthday side of it. Now, both of these, I'm going to select them both, are right now set to cut out in vinyl, but you can actually have them pen in place. So let's come down here and put in a pen. And from there, we can choose a color. Now it's set to 0.4. So you could use your gel pens if you want, or maybe a marker. I have a lot of 1mm gels, and I'll just select pink so that you can see it. Now those are all set to just draw. So I can put those here and have them draw right on there, but I have to make sure that everything goes in the right direction. So one's going to be upside down from the other. So we just have to make sure that those things will fit. I am going to actually put our happy birthday right on this card. And I'm just happy birthday. There we go. I'll select everything here. Sorry, it's just everything. I'm just going to attach it together so that our text will now stay on our card. Now, the other decorations you put on here could be anything that you want. You just have to remember when you have two pieces like that, you know, one's going in one direction and they're facing each other. So you just have to make sure that your embellishments are going to fit. So what I generally do with the arrow part of it is I create the embellishment, have it cut or print separately, and then glue it on. So you can do that as well. Right now, we are just going to take this part of it, have it draw as one piece, and then these two other pieces, we're going to add some beautiful little embellishments, and we're going to make these ourselves. And I'm just going to start with, let's see if I can find something I can play with here that is going to look really good. All right, let's start with an oval. And of course, I'm going to unlock it. That looks pretty good. All right, let's lock it back up. I'm going to change the color. Let's make it a nice little blue. And you may be wondering, what the heck am I going to be making with this? Okay, let me just drag this so it's a little bit smaller. All right, I'm going to duplicate it and I'm going to rotate it. Oh, it didn't duplicate for me. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate it. I am going to rotate it 22.5 degrees. Actually going to put that together just like this. We're going to make a little flower here. Okay, those two together. Let's grab those. Let's group them. Let's duplicate it. And let's move this over 45 degrees and see what we get here. That looks perfect. We have a nice little group here. It looks pretty good. Let's group those together. Remember, this is just one shape, and I duplicated it. And let's try 67.5 degrees. I could have turned it just a little bit more. Maybe just a little bit more. Make it 80 degrees here. It looks pretty good. Okay, let's grab everything together and let's group it. Let's duplicate it and let's flip this 180. And we can kind of center those together. Now that looks really good. So let's just take this all together. Let's weld it as one. And now we have this beautiful flower, one piece of it. And then we're going to click on the offset and we're going to go towards the middle. Make a little item in the middle, like the little stamen, and we're going to apply it. And we'll change the color to a darker color. We're going to take the outside one again, and we are going to offset it, and we're going to bring it out a little bit. Going to apply it. And let's change that from black. Let's go to a bluish color, just to give you an idea of what you can do here. Now let's just take these, we could flatten them and then paint them on, but I'm going to flatten these to make it a print then cut. And then what I can do is I can make these smaller, and I can cut out a number of them that will go on top of our card. So there's a couple of things that you can do to embellish this. We are not going to do this one right now, so I am just going to turn that off, but we are going to make the rest of this now. So let's save our work. And this is a, oh, this is a pop out, pop out triple fold card. I'll just move it down here, make it in for February here. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so now we are ready to go ahead and make it. And the only thing we're going to need here is one sheet. Now you'll notice that the other one didn't appear here. It came out onto a second mat. And that is because Design Space doesn't feel it will really work. So click on the ellipse on the second one and click on Move Object and put it onto the first mat. I'm just going to drag this down. As you see, it fits just perfectly. I don't know why it doesn't want to do that. Now I can use it all on one mat. I need a scoring wheel. I need the pen, and I need the fine cut blade. And I'm going to do this on a single-sided cardstock that I have that you're really going to love. It's just beautiful on one side, and it depends on how we put it together that really is going to make the difference. Okay, so let's just continue with this. Let's select our device, make sure it's turned on. All right, we're going for a medium cardstock, and then I'm going to follow the directions. So now we're going to go over to our demo desk. All right, it's telling us that it wants us to have a scoring wheel and a pen. So I know I wanted the gel pen to go on top, and I'm going to have to be very careful about what I do because I cannot have the pen go on this side. So this is the side that is going to go to the bottom of the mat, and then I'm going to have to flip it over so the drawing can happen on this side. So I have a set of pens here. These are just general pens, and I have to decide what's going to go with that blue. It's a happy birthday. I will pick on a teal color for what we're going to do, and I'm going to use the same one for all of the drawing on here. So let me just put the lid on. Now it also wants my scoring wheel on this side. Back. Scoring wheel. I'm going to have to bring this in just a little bit. There we go, and get the scoring wheel into place. Now I do have to put this on a mat, so let me just grab one of my mats here. And as I mentioned before, it's going to write on it, and writing on the shiny side is going to be a little bit tough. So I'm going to have it right on the back side. So I want a mat where I can just put this into place. Now it's not quite straight. That looks better. Now I do use a braying tool here just to make sure everything is pushed down and I don't lose the stickiness from the mat. And when it cuts, it's going to cut cleanly and it won't pull it off the mat. That's the really important part. So let me just pull this back out. We are ready to load. I push from the center in order to make sure that my mat loads straight. And there we go. It's just taking a look at the size of the mat before it does its work. And then I'll have to push the button, and then it's going to check to make sure that I have the scoring wheel in place. All right, it now wants my fine point blade. Finished with the drawing. I'm going to take my pen out. Okay, we are finished with the cut. And I'm just going to hit finish on Cricut Design Space so it doesn't get in our way here. And it's time to start putting all of this together. So I'm just going to turn my machine off, move it out of the way, and I'm going to turn my mat over and roll off the pieces that I want. That way, by rolling the mat off, I know that the pieces of paper are not going to curl. Just move my scrap piece off the way. One of the things you want to make sure you do is protect your mat so that it's ready for the next use. Okay, so we are ready now to start putting our card together. Well, obviously this is going to be on the outside unless you want to have the happy birthday on the inside. It doesn't really make any difference. You can add another embellishment. Just add this to the outside and leave the happy birthday on the inside. Now, the biggest part is that you're going to have to find where the score lines are for all the different pieces. So we have a score line here that folds it in and out, and we should have another score line here, and this one's at the top. You just have to be careful where you bend it. Make sure you're bending it right on the score line. It's the important piece. I'm going to take it from here. And we're going to have the same on the other side. We have another score line here. The reason I'm folding them in is because I want those to be on the outside. And of course, we have another fold here. And I'm not too sure which way either one is going to go, but we will definitely have them glued into place. So now we have to decide how we want to put these together. For example, we can have this one come through like this so that you have a greeting when it's first open, and that looks pretty sharp. And we'll put that one together in that direction. We want them to point together. Now you can decide how you want them to point together. Simply this way, or do we want to fold it and move it the other way so it's facing this way? I think if we take it this way to this way, it's not going to work so well, so we're going to do it this way. I'm going to have them fold together this way. Let's see, I want it into here, so this, yeah, I got to have a point out. All right. Just flip it over so we make sure we get that edge into place. Now, the next thing we have to do is glue these two edges together. Well, I'm going to use a glue mat, so I'm not getting my big mat all together here. Now, this is being glued underneath this way, so I have to make sure that I glue this on the right side. So I want the glue to be in here. I'm using an Aleene's tacky glue. This is a fun little card to put together, and it's the embellishments that are going to make it even more fun. See if I can get the glue to come out the way I want it to. I got a little bit there. There we go. Now remember, this will dry clear, so don't worry too much if you don't get it exactly the way you want it. Now, the hard part with these cards is you want to be able to match this up as best as possible. So what I usually do is I just bend them up slightly and make sure they are jammed together. You don't want them to glue together, but you want them jammed together, and you want them to match top and bottom. I can see that sometimes this is why I use the tacky glue, because you want to be able to make this as even as possible. There we go. And as close to the edge as possible. And that looks pretty good. I don't want to fiddle with it too much. As you can see, this is a great place to put some extra messaging in on the happy birthday. So this is the first piece. Oops, I moved it too soon. very careful with this. And I have a couple of clips that I can use to make sure that it's going to stay where I want it to stay. And these are just little clips that I have, and I'm just going to hold those into place to make sure I don't move anything. There we go. Now I'm going to have to do the same with the next side because it's going to come in a little differently as well, where it can have piece that's going to come in this way. So I need it to go like this so that I can see it's pointing in a different way. So we know we're going to glue it in this way, and I just twist and turn it until I've got it exactly the way I want it in the direction I want to take. There is no right or wrong way with these. It depends on what you want pointing in and what you want pointing in the other direction. Make sure I got enough glue. And I'm going to have to stack this into place. Got it exactly where I want it. Okay, that looks really good. Just don't want to fiddle with it too much until it's dry. Just want to make sure we line up the best as possible. See, it's not quite matching here, but it will. Okay, I'm going to add a couple of other clips here. I have these clips from another one I was putting together. I'm just going to add those clips because I want it to dry in place without moving it. Now I can take my little mat out of the way. I'm going to flip this over and just want to make sure everything is going to seal in here exactly the way I want it. Looks really good. Can't see the seams whatsoever. Isn't that a gorgeous looking piece? Now, take these apart. In this way, I think this one I have to let dry just a tad bit more. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. So now we have the two pieces. I took the other one off. And as you can see, they're going to fold in like this, and then it's going to fold over. It's not quite dry enough, but I put a little clamp on here to make sure that it dries properly. I'm just in a hurry as we're making this. So when you open up the card, you're going to have a triple fold here. And so you're going to have a nice design on one side and a plain on the other. And then when you open them up, you get both sides as a plain as well. So this is a really cute little card that you can put together. Another greeting would go on the other side. So this is our triple fold pop-up card. I hope you really enjoyed making this one. And until next time, happy crafting.